Keisman, and this is my niece Brandy, and today we're going to tell a little bit different story. We've been telling financial stories, but Brandy has also learned something else about being single. As a single mom, tell us your story, Brandy, about how you met your husband and what was that process like?
So I had two little kids and they didn't have the same father, and I met the Lord, and I started hearing that there was, a possibility that he would make all things new. But what I carried with me was a memory of just it never being good. It was always drama. It was always difficult. And I was able to discern that I was half of that problem. It was not just the other person.
Right.
And the easiest way to go about not repeating the same mistakes again and again would be to eliminate that.
Just to stop where you're at.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes. And I was fortunate enough, the same month that I committed to the Lord in baptism was the same month I bought my house. And so I was going into a new place, a new season, and I was like, I want things to change. I know that you're good. I know you're who you say you are. I know that you are wonderful, and I want to commit my life to you. I'm not going to bring anything into this house that used to be a part of who I was, what I was into, what I was choosing over God. I was drawing a line. So I started my new house, and I didn't date. I didn't do any of the addictive behaviors that I had before. And I just began to allow him to be my husband and my God and my provider, and it was beautiful.
This is a faith walk because so many times, I don't know how many who are listening to us, maybe you've been in prison, maybe you've blown it, maybe you have, just blown it. This is good news because if you stop what you're doing, pause, and start to put into God's practices, His ways, you can have a different outcome. And Brandy's going to continue her story to give you encouragement that what He did for one, He will do for you. Just you have to do it the same way, though.
And you have to do it His way.
His way. If you want God's outcome, you must do it His way.
Yes. So in my mind, I thought, you know what? I lived kind of a wild life for 6 years. And so I was going to commit 6 years to the Lord, remaining a single woman and studying Him and giving my life to Him for 6 years. And at the end of that 6 years, nothing really changed. I never wanted to pursue a man because I know that's not the way that it works in the kingdom. And so I was just kind of waiting for, him to send somebody my way. I was teased that, what is it going to be, the pizza guy? Because I didn't go anywhere and I didn't do anything.
Why not?
So anyway, 6 years in and it didn't happen. But what I did discover 6 years in is that God was amazing. I didn't have drama in my life, that He provided for me. He did everything that He said He was going to do. And I loved living that life where I didn't have to ask anybody, what do you think? If God said it, I could just do it. And it was awesome. And I loved being single. And that 6 years became 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Wow.
And at that point, I was just like, I love living a single life. It's okay to be single.
Right.
Being single is a beautiful thing. And it was to the point where all of a sudden that year, the Lord began to whisper to me, 2 are better than 1. It's a verse in the Bible.
Right.
And I would see it on billboards. I would hear it in songs. I would see it in my Bible when I opened it up. If someone was talking to me, it would be mentioned. It was all over the place.
Okay.
2 are better than 1. And I was like, yeah, I know. That's part of your word. I get that. I agree. Your word is true. 2 are better than 1.
Just for someone else.
Right. So one day I was in a prayer meeting after church, and He spoke it again, and it broke me because really I was just scared.
Right.
I didn't want that drama, and I didn't think I was worthy of something beautiful. And so it was easier to be alone, and He did provide for all my needs, and He is amazing, and it was wonderful, but honestly, I was just scared.
Of another failure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when He said it again, I started remembering when He was faithful. He was faithful to provide. He was faithful with my family. He was faithful with my children. He was faithful with His word. He was faithful in all things.
Right.
And He was calling me to trust Him, that 2 were going to be better than 1. And I said, I relent. The thought of giving up doing what I want when I want because God said so, and bringing somebody in that maybe made life more difficult for my children or something. I didn't know what to expect. I just wanted to protect them.
The unknown is very fearful.
Yeah. And so I did. I prayed. I was like, I relent. That was it. That was the whole prayer. I relent. Wave the white flag. I give up. And I didn't expect it, but everyone in the room, the whole body of Christ, came around me and began to pray for me. They began to pray for my future husband. They began to pray for my future children. I was like, what? My children are like 12 and 15. I'm not having more children at this point. but they did. And I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. And I had made a pact with a God a long time ago. I was like, God, dating is hard. If you want me to date, you're going to have to say this is him, and I'll put the work in. Otherwise, I don't have the time. I've got these kids. I've got a job. I got the work of the Lord to do. I got all this stuff, and I don't have time for that sort of thing. I got up out of that room, walked out into the church. There was one person remaining, and he wasn't in the prayer meeting. He was standing there alone. And as soon as I saw him, the Lord told me, that is him.
Wow. Wow.
And I didn't know what to do with that information because I already made a commitment not to pursue men. I was like, well, this is really awkward. This is really awkward to know this. So I began to pray. And within a week, this shy, quiet man who we've never really talked much ever began to call me. We began to have conversations. The more conversations we had, the more that the Lord opened up the truth that he had organized our mistakes and our lives and our choices and all the roads that we went down in such a way that we would perfectly be compatible to one another for the dreams that he had for us. For the future. So one weekend we both knew, but we waited 9 months for the children. So it would be summertime. And every day for 9 months, it was an arranged marriage. God arranged our marriage. And that 9 months we spent continuing to honor him in our walk and with each other. And we kept discovering, oh, that's what you're like? Oh my gosh. I didn't know that you would understand this about me. I didn't know that you could be there in this way for me. I didn't know that you would accept this about me. And it was mutual. We just completely were like, wow, Lord, it was like opening a present every day. It's like this too. Aww. It wasn't fearful or tumultuous or dramatic or anything. It was every day was another day of peace.
But you know what? I know Brandy, in the years that she was single, she was becoming rooted in God. She was becoming secure. And when you get two people who are rooted in God together, it can be like that. It can be that good. But I also want to encourage again, I don't know what your past was like, but God is in the business of redeeming pasts. He wants to give you beauty in exchange for your ashes. And you have to do it God's way, though.
Yes.
If you want God's outcome, you need to do it God's way. And again, if he did it for Brandy, he can do it for you. But it's going to take faith, believing that he can do it for you. Anyway, I'm Barb Keisman, and you've been listening to Dare to Dream Once More.